Hello, hello. I would say welcome to a novel console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. But today we are not gonna have a regular episode because Carradine is off in Georgia visiting her family, and she hasn't gotten back here, which is not a big deal because once she gets back, we will record an episode, and it's going to release on Tuesday, so day after you're listening to this, which is not bad. You're going to get a full-fledged episode. We're going to review a book, a game, place to eat, and we'll also be talking about the new Batman movie because we managed to get an invitation. Well, we didn't get an invitation. Carradine was offered tickets to go see the movie, so we will have some thoughts on the movie without any spoilers on the episode. So instead of a regular cold open, we'll just talk about the Batman movie and give our general thoughts on it. No spoilers at all. And then the regular episode will start. And that's pretty much going to be the episode for this week. So just stick around. We got the Captain America Marvel episode. Carradine leads this episode. It's very funny. There's a lot of things that we really enjoyed about the movie. And we'll have some news soon about when we will be picking back up the Marvel series because we know we kind of put it down and we never really got to Avengers. And that's something that we want to get back to. So just stick around, enjoy, have a good time, share with your friends, follow our socials, follow us on Patreon, $2 a month. So, the usual. And I hope everybody has a great week. And you will listen more of us tomorrow. All right? Bye, everyone.
Welcome to Novel Console's Patreon exclusive Marvel episodes. My name is Carradine, and with me is my husband and co-host, Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris. I hate doing this.
When are you going to get comfortable with doing the intro by yourself?
Never.
Would it work if you wrote it down?
If I wrote it down?
Yeah.
If I read it?
If you wrote it down, if you had it written down?
No, I don't think it would help at all.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because I suck.
You don't suck. You're just not used to doing this.
I have stage fright, even if it's just you and Luna.
Oh, God. And the thousands of Patreon supporters that we have
The
that are currently...
Oh, my God. We could quit our jobs if we had thousands of Patreon supporters.
If we had...
That would be amazing.
If we had 4,000 Patreon supporters, we could quit our jobs, but we don't.
Dude, we would have so much more money than what we bring in right now.
I know, it's $8,000 a month.
Holy crap. We don't have to tell everybody we make less than $8,000 a month.
We make less than $1,000 a month.
No, we don't. Shut
yes,
up.
we do.
Oh, my God. Okay, so today we're discussing the next chronological Marvel movie. And thanks to Marla, I discovered that if you scroll down far enough in Disney Plus, there they are in chronological order. The only problem is that those, are they Sony movies or whatever the fuck they are?
Which ones?
Are not there. So like the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Is not there, obviously.
Okay, so that's why we won't be able to watch?
No, we're going to watch it. We'll find it somewhere.
Okay.
We're going to go with the internet chronological timeline, not the Disney Plus chronological timeline. Because we need to see those garbage movies too and come back and compare them to Disney.
I was thinking today, we can't watch Black Widow anyways.
Why?
Because we're not going to pay $30 for the movie.
Why do you have to pay $30 for Black Widow? I thought you were saying Black Panther.
No, Black Widow.
Oh. Well, fuck, we're not watching that shit again.
Why don't we just read, like, the script synopsis and just talk about that?
We can just give a little blurb at the beginning of whatever is after it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that movie sucked, and it's still new enough that we don't want to spoil it for everybody, for the people who care.
You would actually have to pay to have it spoiled.
Some people are willing to pay to have it spoiled. Some people are waiting to have the, early premiere access go away and then watch it.
That's true. So you are going to be leading this episode.
I am.
Oh, boy. So just be patient with her because she has never done this. And the few times that she has done the intro for the show, she has butchered it like she did today.
Thanks, hubby. You're so kind.
And we've
I
had
wish
to
you
do,
could have heard what I said before this intro.
we've had to do a couple of retakes because she just freaks out when I tell her it's her time to go.
So if you think I suck, please just don't email us and tell us how much I suck.
Which is weird because every time I throw you to the wolves when it's your segment, like the book talk, or the intro to give me the garbage,
I fly.
you
I
just
soar so high.
exactly you just do it without any problems. But every time you have to open the episode, no, you drown.
I don't know. You're just so good at it. Your voice was made for radio. So was your face.
Exactly.
Oh, hubby.
Exactly.
I
would
love
say
your
that-
face.
I'd say that neither of them are meant for radio.
No, your voice is really good. It's very soothing.
Eh.
Especially when you say "tuh" instead of "th."
I say tree, and,
I
you don't
would-
know if I'm talking about the plant or the number.
I would just like to emphasize that because I am leading this episode, I took all of the notes. So you could compliment my superior note taking at the end of the
See,
episode.
you added a lot of details to the notes that you took. I just write a specific blurb of what happened and then just
See, I was afraid
bullshit
that I
it.
might forget stuff if I'm really surprised at like how well I still paid attention to the movie writing down all of this shit.
yeah. And I mean, I was taking notes too. I was filling in the
Minimal.
gaps. The gaps that you were leaving, I was filling them in.
Minimal.
There were a couple of parts where I started to slip away and fall asleep.
Did you really?
Yes, but
We
it was for
should have
like,
taken a damn nap today.
but it was in like short scenes that really didn't build on anything to the story, like when she's talking to the intelligence thing the second time, or the other one I don't remember, but I would just slip in and quickly come back out. So it wasn't that the movie was boring, because I really
It's definitely
didn't.
not.
I did enjoy the movie, but all right, you want
Okay, we'll get into it. Okay, so Captain Marvel Carvel ice cream cakes. I couldn't resist. Okay, so this is the first Marvel movie that was released in theaters after Stan Lee's death. Am I correct?
I think so.
That intro makes sense. So basically the Marvel logo intro where you would normally see, you know, little snippets of little scenes that are all morphing into that huge Marvel logo. It's all Stan Lee cameos for this movie. And at the end of showing the Marvel banner, it says, "Thank you, Stan." I'm going to cry.
You started crying last night when we were watching.
What if I cried
What
like
if-
a damn baby at
And
the
they-
fucking end of the episode?
when they put the
Oh,
thing about
God.
Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah, I lost my shit.
You started crying. I'm not gonna
cry
lie.
right now. Oh God.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt something when I saw our king, our hero.
And just like hearing his voice, oh, heartbreaking. And I'd seen something on Facebook saying that he was like the first person who signed on, and he was so excited about being T'Challa again. Oh God, my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We can cry again when we get to Black Panther. Because we don't have to pay $30 to watch Black Panther. Your father is blowing up my phone right now. Okay, anyway. I have to look at my phone because the notes are on my phone. You let me lead this episode, okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so that is the intro, and it made me cry. So the movie starts out with Carol or Veers,
Danvers.
but
Carol-
they call her
Veers.
Veers, yes.
Veers.
Carol is waking up with like a turquoise nosebleed and a bloody hand, also turquoise. This alien-looking person is coming through dust like towards her to shoot her, but then she actually wakes up on Hala, which is a Kree civilization.
A world.
Yes.
A
Whatever.
Kree world.
It's a Kree place. And we noticed that she has the little like electronic node thing implanted in her neck.
Yeah, kind of like a disc
Yes.
Was it like a power dampener?
I get the feeling towards the end that, yes, it was. It was keeping her under control. And
Yeah.
Creefied.
Creefied.
And Luna's digging.
Take me
Oh my god.
high.
Anyway, we're gonna get there to the
not
music.
It's not that type of.
That's Creed. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Glad it's that type of Creed.
So she goes to Jude Law or Jan Rog. We should just call him Jude the whole time.
Yeah, that name.
Jan Rog. That doesn't even sound like a real name.
No.
Like, what the fuck? And she asked him to spar with her because she had bad dreams. And then, so they're sparring, and we find out that she doesn't remember her past. She gets her ass kicked, and Jude Law tries to tell her to control her emotions. That's what he's telling her this whole damn time. He's just a controlling asshole. And we find out that her name is Veers.
But it's spelled
Vers.
So it should be verse.
Verse. So then Jude's like really mad at her for bringing out her little hand powers. It's like, you need to go talk to Supreme Intelligence and tamp down your emotions, blah, blah, blah. So Supreme Intelligence for Veers appears to be like this old badass woman. Because the Supreme, I can't say it. It's a tongue twister. Supreme Intelligence appears as the person you admire the most, but she doesn't remember her past, so she has no idea who this woman is. But the SI, I'll call it, basically like recounts the fact that Veers is a victim of a Skrull invasion. And then Veers goes back to Jude, and they head out on their first mission to rescue a Kree spy who's been supposedly possibly taken by the Skrull.
I love some of these Kree names.
They're fucking awful.
What was it? One of the names like Marina.
I think so, yeah.
This dude that they're going to rescue, his name is Solar.
I can't.
What the fuck is wrong with these names? It's like they used the names from like the 70s comics where they would just, the villain of the week is called Guglublu. And they just would write Guglublu.
Yeah. But we're getting like a Skrull debrief on our way to, what is this place called? Torfa. On our way to Torfa, and we find out that the Skrull general is named Talos. And that comes in handy later.
But his name is spelled Talos.
Talos, but Talos. It's very confusing.
These names, you look at them and they just don't make sense.
So then Chris pointed out the homeboy from Guardians is there, but this takes place before Guardians, so he is not working for Ronan yet. But actually, they're all working for Ronan,
somewhat.
Technically,
yeah.
But not like in an immediate capacity, technically.
Yeah.
So the mission to Torfa has the ships like do a bombing run so they can swim in undetected in their weird swimsuits.
The what's it called? The accuser ships. So like Ronin ships do kind of like a bombing run so that they can sneak in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're on Torfa now, and they all separate, and their walkie-talkie thingy bob jigs are scrambled so they can't communicate, which makes it way more likely that a Skrull is going to impersonate one of them. Way more likely.
Yeah. And thing is like these Marvel movies, they have like a bunch of like super powered beings and whatnot, but this team of people,
the Kree people,
yeah, they're just like Marines.
Yeah.
They have like maybe abilities, but not really.
She has more abilities than the rest of them, and they're all like muted.
Yeah, and Jude Law's character, his ability is, I have gauntlets that hold you in place.
So silly.
Yeah.
So anywho, we basically learned that anybody can be a goddamn Skrull, and everybody's turning into Skrulls, and their own team is betraying them, supposedly. It's very, very confusing. So Veers ultimately finds the spy, Solar, and the Torfa locals are getting super mad. Then it turns out that they're actually all fucking Skrulls. Skrulls.
It's
Skull with an R.
With an R.
All these words are like hard to say, and I don't know why. It's because I'm hot. temperature-wise.
Yeah, we're
Roasting in our apartment right
we're
now.
not having fun.
No. But so yeah, all the locals turn into scrolls and everybody's like, oh my God, the mission's compromised, blah, blah, blah. Well, then it turns out the Solar is actually a scroll too. And he like zaps Veers and they take her away. And she's like, well, tell me what's going on. And they're like, we'll tell you our secret when you tell us yours. So then we jump into another flashback where Veers is in the Air Force and it's like some Top Gun shit. But then we can hear
Top Gun with chicks.
yeah. We can hear Talos's voice like over all of it. It's like, oh, right there. Oh, go back.
And like he's telling
It's like they're watching her life as a movie.
But they're
and
trying to tell her to
rewinding
focus
and stuff.
and to do stuff over and over again just so they can get specific information they want.
Yes, because we finally wind up at the moment where Veers is interacting with the person that the Supreme Intelligence looks like, this older woman. Turns out it's Dr. Wendy Lawson, and they literally play this moment over and over and over, like just trying to hone in on her name on her jacket.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And then there's this bit where Carol's like back, or Veers, it's so confusing. Veers is back in her plane and they're telling her to focus in on the coordinates, and ultimately it's like she blows herself out of her own memory. It's crazy. So then she like wakes up, but she's in this suspended prison thing with the scroll people. And they're saying that Lawson, the woman who is her supreme intelligence, is their link to a light-speed engine and everything that they need. Carol breaks out of her suspended prison thing and she whoops some scroll ass and she escapes in an escape pod.
Mind you, her hands are still tied in her shackles.
She does manage to blast them off.
She does. But her hands are still shackled, and she is beating ass with these giant metal rods attached to her arms.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty impressive.
That was pretty cool.
Pretty impressive.
Oh, and she was barefoot, too.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that part. She did find her boots before she got into the escape pod.
Yeah. Which Talos shot before she could...
Yes, and it basically, like, self-destructs on its flight down to C-53. C-53? Is that what it was called?
Yep.
C-53? Yes. And she crash lands on the roof of a Blockbuster. She literally falls through the ceiling of the Blockbuster.
And she shoots a True Lies cutout.
You know, like, you don't often find... I don't know how to word this. I don't know. I felt like this movie was a nod to us. That is our history.
Like when we were kids.
Like, my little brother doesn't understand shit like that.
No.
He doesn't know what Blockbuster is. We grew up begging to go to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And Movie Gallery.
Yeah.
Rented so many movies.
And Video Avenue. Yeah.
So many times did we ask to go, and my mom said no, because it was kind of expensive to rent those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
See, there was this place while I was growing up called Washi Video.
Washi Video?
Yeah.
That sounds sketchy.
The movie rentals were like $3, and the video game rentals were like $5 for 3 days. And I rented so many video games. And there was a game, I think I told this in the Games That Disappointed Us episode, called Yoshi Story. I just kept renting the game over and over and over and over again until my mom got sick and said, you know what, I'm just going to buy you the game because I am not going to rent this game anymore for you.
Bless it.
Yeah. So what happens in the parking lot of the Blockbuster?
So she approaches a cop or security.
A mall cop.
And is like, I need communication devices. And he points it's to a Radio Shack. Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore. Like,
No.
what the fuck?
No.
My kindergarten boyfriend, he worked at the Radio Shack when we were in high school. Yep. My pre-K boyfriend. I don't think he was my boyfriend in kindergarten.
So
Yes.
even earlier.
Yep. I keep tabs on these things. So then we flash to The Skrulls, once again, popping up out of the ocean. They see some surfers and decide to disguise themselves as surfers because that's not noticeable in the middle of a city. Right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when they're taking pot shots at Captain Marvel and Nick Fury and young Coulson, because Agent Coulson is in this movie as a rookie.
It's adorable, but also weird. It's weird because like his face is so smooth.
They
and
smoothed it so hard with CGI that there was a point where
He looked like a girl.
he looked at the camera and he just looked fake.
He looked very plastic.
Yeah. There was something really cool that I didn't notice the first time that we saw it, and it's that when Carol had hooked up all that shit to the phone booth and was calling
The Kree, her Jan
Jude Law.
Jude Law.
There was a literal Game Boy attached to the
I didn't even notice that this time
the
until
thing.
you said it in the notes. I was like, what?
and when she managed to connect everything and turn it on, it sounded like the Game Boy turning on. That ding.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." That one was for me. That one wasn't for anybody else but me.
But she basically decides to fuck it all up and tell Jude Law that the Skrulls took her and they're looking for Lawson and she wants to find Lawson first. Then we have Agent Coulson and Nick Fury pop up out of nowhere. I think I said it on the podcast before. I know I said it to you. I keep forgetting that Nick Fury exists because he hasn't been around since the snap.
So this is the last movie where he had kind of like a big involvement in, not story wise, but like
Release wise. Or
acting wise or whatever. After that, he has just been like snippets and shots of whatever, because he wasn't in Endgame, I think.
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, he was in that bad Spider-Man movie, Far From Home.
He was?
Yeah, he was.
I don't remember that. We got to rewatch that movie. It's been too long since we've seen it. We have to watch even the bad ones except Black Widow because we're not paying $30 for that shit.
No.
No. Okay, so this is where I decided to remember that there's a theory that Nick Fury is a Skrull. Or is at some point a Skrull.
Yeah.
I think you told me this while we were watching this movie the first time. Because I didn't know shit about anything at all.
I don't remember that. But this part is just interesting because the Skrull takes shots at Captain Marvel. She chases after the Skrull to a train, hops into the train, and there's a whole fight in the train with the Skrull.
But the Skrull is an old lady.
And she looks like your aunt.
We should say an older lady. No, I don't think she listens to the podcast. She'll never know.
No, especially she's not going to pay $2.
And we're just saying my aunt. You don't know which aunt I'm talking about.
Aunt Debbie.
Oh, shut up.
She looks like her.
Especially when she
beats her
looks up and like does that devious little smile.
Yeah, that is your aunt.
And then Veers punches the shit out of her face.
In the meantime, what's his face? Captain Motherfucker, Nick Fury, is driving, chasing the train, and next to him, he has a Skrull, and he didn't know because he was dressed as Coulson.
Yep.
And they start fighting and struggling back and forth. And the way that Nick Fury kills him is by having the car like get smacked by a truck, and he dies in the impact.
Yep.
And,
but back on the train, we get our Stanley cameo.
And he's reading the Mallrats script.
What is Mallrats?
It's a movie with Jay and Silent Bob. It's the prequel to Clerks, I think. Yeah. It's a funny movie.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He's so adorable. I miss him.
Yeah.
Pretty cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Throughout the whole fight, the Skrull changes characters, bodies, no, appearance, once.
yes.
He jumps on the roof. Carol jumps on the roof. They fight. Tunnel comes up. He escapes. Carol has to go back inside. And does Carol find it afterwards? No, she doesn't find them. But during the fight, she did find a little glass thingy that she puts on her communicator thingy to try to access the memories. and it kind of like shorts out. Then she goes to a computer cafe, which were a thing, to do a search, and the internet is terrible there. And then she steals a bike and clothes from a mannequin with ginormous boobs.
Yes. And has a 9-inch nails t-shirt on for half of the movie at this point.
Yeah, for 96.
Weird.
Right?
Really weird.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Fury is back at a lab having the scroll dissected. And that asshole from Rogue One shows up and is part of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's Fury's boss.
And the guy that's dissecting the scroll is Camu from Scott Pilgrim.
Which one was Camu?
The one where Scott goes like, "Hey, have you seen a girl with hair like this?" And he says, "Yeah, it's Ramona Flowers. They said she was going to be the star."
Oh, that guy.
The one with the
Okay, yeah.
glasses,
I
yeah.
never got to look at the guy at the what are they called?
Actor?
No. What's the person who does the autopsy?
Autopsier?
The autopsy.
Dissector? That's what I wrote.
The oh fuck. What are they called? What are they called?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me nuts. It's not a mortician because that's a funeral.
It's a mortician.
No, that's the funeral person, right?
Is the same the coroner? Coroner?
Is it the coroner?
I think so.
Is it?
I
We're
don't know.
idiots.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, and then it's really awkward because Fury like takes a peek at the scroll dick to see if it's big, and he and Rogue One dude just like look at each other and have their man moment. It's like, what? Really?
But
really?
Doesn't it turn out that Rogue One
is a scroll because he has a little intimate moment with the dead scroll body and is like, best of luck on your way to the mother or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, because everybody is a scroll. Everybody. You might be a scroll for all I know. Luna could be a flirkin. Can you imagine? Luna a flirkin?
Luna's a flirkin idiot.
Oh, bless her heart.
Listen, you're gonna find out that I'm a scroll the day I look at you and my eyes blink sideways.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
That's gonna give me nightmares.
Yeah.
So then Veers winds up at a seedy bar and is having flashbacks. Fury shows up at the bar and they like play a game of 20 questions to make sure that Fury's not a scroll because scrolls only adapt like recent memories. They can't have like your whole life story. So we find out that Fury had a first pet named Mr. Snoofers.
Snoofers. It's such a weird name.
And he can't eat toast that's cut diagonally.
Which is either bullshit or he is replaced by a scroll later on, because there is one scene in one of the movies where he is eating a sandwich.
We're gonna have to really pay attention.
Cut diagonally.
It's not that movie. It's not when he's at Maria's and eating and chugging that sweet tea, right?
No, it's not there. I think it's the movie. I think he's eating the sandwich at Clint Barton's house. So it's gotta be Civil War, maybe? Or is it Ultron?
Because we know he's still human, at least in this movie, when they're on the Kree ship and they do the scanning at the end. This says human man, not a threat.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to pay attention to that.
So yeah. So basically Carol Veers, whatever, tells him that she wants to find Pegasus. And then my husband decided to note that the music in this movie is great because it's all 90s music.
But this is the list of songs. Crazy on You by Heart. Kiss Me Deadly by Lita Ford.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
By Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Connection by Elastica. Only Happy When It Rains
That's
by
a good
Garbage.
song.
Crush with Eyeliner, REM. Waterfalls
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
by TLC. You Gotta Be by Desiree.
You gotta be bad. You gotta be.
Come As You Are by Nirvana. Just a Girl by No Doubt.
I'm just a girl.
Man on the Moon by REM. And then there's Celebrity Skin by Hole. I don't know which one that is. Fury sings Please, Mr. Postman. And then the Avengers theme at the end. That's pretty much it. Then they go to a military base and get locked in a room.
And Fury pulls out his ancient two-way pager. Did your parents ever have pagers? I remember when my mom
dad
had a
did.
pager.
My dad had one.
And I just thought it was like the coolest space gadget ever. It was weird.
I thought PDAs were cool.
What?
Yeah.
What?
PDAs.
What's that? Public display of affection?
No, it's a personal data assistant. No, personal device. It's basically think an iPad, but you can only take notes and keep phone numbers and stuff, and you can't make calls or whatever.
Oh, so it's like a digital address book.
Kind of. So what happens next?
So they're like trapped in this room waiting for somebody to take them to see Pegasus. I think they're just being held hostage. But Fury decides to cheat the system with some fucking tape, like just regular old desk tape, because one of the guys took his badge from him and he pulls his fingerprint off of the plastic part covering his shield ID. How smart is that? I would never think of that shit. Never.
But the thing is, it works, and he immediately opens the door, lets Carol out, and then he walks out behind her, and he left his ID on the table.
Way to go, Nick.
That is something.
Way to go.
I wonder how he got that ID back.
Wow. So then Veers pisses him off because she then just blows a hole through the handle of the next door that they come to. He's like, why the fuck didn't you do that before, motherfucker?
There's a cat.
Goose! Goose is the coolest cat ever. I think Goose is the reason I loved this movie the first time we saw it. And I made you go buy me those Funko Pops. I still have Goose.
Yeah,
I don't have the Carol Funko anymore, but I have
the one
Goose.
with the lunchbox?
Yeah, but I have Goose. I have Goose forever.
You know what I really liked about this movie?
Goose?
The banter and the chemistry between
Goose and Fury?
Carol and Fury.
No, I liked the banter between Goose and Fury. He becomes a total marshmallow when he sees that damn cat. He's just in love with the cat. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Fury's like on some other Earth-like world living his best life with Goose. And he let the Skrull take over for him.
I could see that happening.
Right?
I really could see that happening.
I could see him having like finally picked out a nice new eyeball. You know what? I bet he picked out a new eyeball and he's just had that eyeball covered this whole time. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. So Goose, the freaky cat, follows them into the archives, and I don't even think they noticed that Goose followed them into the archives. It's kind of freaky. But they got to find out more about Lawson. So they realize that Lawson is Cree because all of her notes are in Cree glyphs. Like, Fury sees it and is like, this woman was batshit crazy. And Carol's like, no, she's not. These are all Cree glyphs. Like, she had to have been Cree. So it also looks like Lawson is dead and the Lightspeed engine is totally lost. But then we find out that Maria Rambo was one of the last people to see Lawson and whoever her pilot was on the day they left. Whoever it was, nobody knows who it was.
They said that it was another pilot and that the pilot died. And immediately, not a minute later, she finds the picture of herself in it, and she tells Fury, I was the other pilot.
Yep.
Like, there's no suspense at all. I mean,
we all knew it was her even before seeing the damn photo. Like, come on, do some math. And like you said, this movie takes place in 1995. We were small children.
I was, if it was after summer, I was 5 years old. If it was before summer, I was 4.
A year younger for me. So basically, Veers decides to report back to fucking Jude Law again, tells him everything like the idiot that she is, but she does finally start to realize that something's fishy with him. But she tells him that Lawson was an undercover Kree operative and that she was experimenting on tech to help win the war. Win the war, whatever, something about the war. And freaking Fury decides to take his fucking two-way pager and send a page to Star Wars Man asking for backup. But Star Wars Man is a fucking idiot and gives himself away immediately by calling Fury Nicholas. never in the history of a Marvel movie have we ever heard anybody call him Nicholas. Nick Fury? Fury. Never. Nicholas.
No.
Even if he and Carol had not had that conversation about how literally everybody calls him Fury 10 minutes before this scene happened.
You know what's funny?
What?
Nick's name is Nicholas, and I've never called him Nicholas.
Nobody would ever think to call him Nicholas. Like,
I don't think anybody called Nick or Nicholas is ever called Nicholas at all, because it's just weird.
I mean, if they're pretentious, they go by Nicholas.
Yes, I'm Sir Nicholas.
Oh boy.
Address me as such.
So meanwhile, Jude Law is trying to convince Veers that she's crazy and that she's being brainwashed.
He's
by
gaslighting
the
her.
Skrull. He is gaslighting her.
Gaslighting her like
You
crazy.
are so right. So right. So basically, Star Wars boy is like, I want to question her alone because I'm a Skrull and I'm gonna get this information out of her. And Fury is like, man, I done fucked up, and he's trying to find Veers before Rogue One can find her. And then we overhear one of the female S.H.I.E.L.D. agents tell Coulson that they're supposed to bring Fury back in, dead or alive. And Coulson's just like, what?
I don't think that was Maria Hill.
It was just a woman.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it was Maria Hill or not. It might be. It might not be. I really didn't pay attention to her face. All we paid attention to was Coulson being like, what?
Is Maria Hill that lady who's played by that woman from How I Met Your
yeah.
Mother? No, that's definitely not her. This
No?
was a totally different person.
Okay.
Totally different person. Plus, unless she doesn't age,
She
it's
doesn't.
definitely not her.
She doesn't age.
But no, it was definitely somebody else. Just a nobody other S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Okay.
Nobody cares. Yeah. I don't think we ever really saw her face.
Side
They definitely
from
would have
the
played
side.
that up if it was supposed to be her.
Maybe.
They would have given us like a hint. So basically, Fury and Rogue One run back into each other, and Rogue One whoops Fury's ass like so hard, mops the floor with him basically. Turns out Rogue One is actually Talos. Surprise, surprise! And then Veers shows up and zaps him. Coulson is a really, really good guy, and he knows to let them go, so he does, and he covers for them when he sees them on the stairwell trying to get away. And he's like, oh no, I don't see him over here! And they run away with Goose, unintentionally. They wind up stealing an aircraft, and they're flying away, and then they hear, "Meow!" There's Goose in the back. Did Luna respond? No, she didn't respond.
She didn't
I'm
care.
shocked. So Veers shows Fury the photo with her and says they need to find Maria Rambeau to get closer to see what happened. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we see fucking Jude talking with Ronan, one of my movie boyfriends. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You love him as
Thranduil.
not
And
Ronan the Accuser.
in Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day.
Not Twilight.
He's not in Twilight.
He looks perfect for Twilight.
Yeah. You saying he would have been a better choice for Carlisle? The father?
I don't know who that is,
The
but
father
he
of the vampire clan?
maybe he does have that vampire clan.
How do you know I'm not
leader.
attracted to him as Ronan? With the blue skin and those black eyes.
The with the black blood makeup they put on him
Yeah.
on the
So tasty. Like a Smurf.
God, just continue.
Okay, so Ronan's like, we're gonna go find those scrolls. And then we're suddenly with Maria. This movie does a lot of jumping around between Jude and Veers and Jude and Veers and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah. We're with Maria and Maria's little daughter, Monica, who was cast. They did some amazing casting there because old Monica in WandaVision looks exactly like that little girl.
That's true.
That
She
was
does.
amazing.
She
I
does.
was like, are we sure that this movie wasn't made in 1995 so that she could get that old to be in WandaVision now? Are we sure? because that was really good.
She might have been the Olsen twin sage at that in 1995.
Right? But she's like, Auntie Carol. And Veers is just like, I don't know who you people are. Sorry. So Maria tells Veers what happened that day. Apparently Lawson had been really upset and said that lives were at stake. And Carol was like, I'm the hero. I'm going to fly because there are lives at stake. And then poor Maria breaks down and says it was really hard knowing her best friend died. And everybody pretended that it didn't happen. Then Talos shows up at Maria's house. Oops. And it's like, don't do anything stupid because we have your daughter. Sure enough, they look outside and there's a fucking scroll Maria with little Monica.
See, that scene was, I thought that scene was creepy.
I thought it was going to be so bad.
That scene, when they show out the window and there's another
Maria
with the little girl, it gave me that same vibe as that scene from Signs where the aliens walk.
Oh, I never saw Signs.
So there is like a party in Mexico, like a birthday party. And like all the kids are scared, everybody's screaming, and like they're all hiding in the house and they're looking through a window. And through the window, they have like a walkway. And at the end of the walkway, you see like a tree and then the side of the house. And you see an alien walk from the trees to the side of the house, and the alien is looking straight at the camera the entire time. It is super fucking freaky. It looks terrible now. It looks really, really bad.
Do you think I could handle watching Signs?
Yes. Yeah.
Should we watch it?
We should. I think okay.
It's
so
like,
that part, the aliens look terrible now.
Right, but back then, and as a kid, it was terrifying.
Yes, but still, the scene itself, how it was shot, even though
freaky.
the alien looks terrible, it's still freaky to this day.
You know, I still okay.
So seeing that scroll out there with the little girl gave me the same vibes as that scene from Signs.
So I downloaded Peacock a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I'm gonna watch all the Harry Potter movies over again. Because I still privately enjoy Harry Potter as a separate entity. But watching the first movie, I only made it through the first 3. I realized that there's a scene in that movie that still freaks me the fuck out, even as an almost 30-year-old adult. And it is when Voldy is flying across the ground in just his black cape and you can't see his face or anything, and they're in the middle of the woods. I used to stand at our bay window at night and imagine Voldy flying through our woods up to the bay window to get me.
I've told you before that one of my fears as a child was to look through at the window while I was sleeping and seeing an alien staring back at me.
Yep.
You, or worse, you stood at the fucking window and just tried to look at full for
I would also lie in bed at night and watch out my window and see lights and imagine they were UFOs coming for me and freak myself out. And yeah, I have a long history of
I also
freaking myself out.
I remember one the other day that I wanted to tell you and I completely forgot. And it's that, you know that scene in Jurassic Park 2 where the T-Rex eats the dog and has like...
Oh, yes, I hate it so
and
much.
has
That's
the dog
so
house.
terrible. They should never have made that scene. I hate it.
After I watched that, I always imagined or thought that I would see a T-Rex with my dog's chain hanging from his mouth because it ate my dog. Because my dog
that's so fucked up.
My parents had my dog in the backyard.
No, on a chain.
No, not on a chain. Sometimes when my dad was cutting the grass, he would chain him so he wouldn't get in the way. But, yeah.
Luna will never put you outside to get eaten by the T-Rex. Never.
Okay, so we were at the...
So Talos is like, hey, I just really want to talk to you. I'm
There's
not
something
bad.
important right there.
What? Is there something I missed?
He's drinking a milkshake.
He's drinking a milkshake? I know he's drinking something out of a plastic cup. Why is that important?
Because there's another scene in another one of the movies
where
Nick Fury is drinking a
the
milkshake.
same milkshake.
I'm not sure if it's the same, but
so we think Nick Fury is Talos.
Maybe, or he's another Skrull. Because throughout this whole movie, he was just chugging iced tea. Every time he
That's
was drinking
true.
something, it was iced tea.
That's true. It was all, I mean, there was one point in Maria's house where he was like shoving food in his mouth and drinking iced tea while the food was still in his mouth. It was weird. Did you notice that? He
No.
still had a mouthful of food and was taking drinks.
Maybe the food was really bad.
Like, what the fuck? I want some sweet tea now.
Maybe the food was really bad
Maybe.
and the sweet tea was good.
Maybe. But basically, Talos is like, I have the black box recording from Pegasus. And they're like, whoa, they told us that was destroyed. And Talos is like, no, I got it. And then Talos sees Goose. And he flips the fuck out. He's like, oh, get it away from me. And Fury's like, it's just a cat. He's like, that is not a cat. It's a flurkin. And of course, they don't listen to anything he says at all. So we finally hear the recording after they pop this CD in this ancient PC and wait for it to load for like 1,000,000 years. And there's even like a silent joke about it loading. They're all waiting on bated breath for this damn thing to load because they're used to alien technology, which is far more advanced than 1995 earthen computers, to say the least. But basically, we like hear a flashback to the actual flight leading up to the crash. Honestly, I believe it's a miracle that either one of them survived because that crash was rough. They were getting flung around. I don't know how their necks didn't snap with how hard they were flinging around in there. It was so bad, like trees whacking them. And
when they showed Lawson, like she was waving her arms around and just like banging her arms against her head and everything.
oh gosh, so Carol is like perfectly fine, just jumps out and is like, oh, let me help you. And she sees that Lawson's blood is blue. And she's like, your blood is blue. And Lawson tells Carol that she's Marvell and she's from Hala. Tells Carol to remember the coordinates and save them. Save them, not save the coordinates, save them, they, like a people them. Save them, not, yeah. The way I said it the first time sounded weird. Don't judge me. Okay. Marvell says that she's got to blow the engine before they find it. We think they is the Skrulls. We think. So we're basically in this vision or the dream that Carol was having at the very beginning of the movie, where she sees this alien coming through the dust and it looks like a Skrull. Turns out it wasn't a Skrull coming through that dust. It was fucking Jude Law. Fucking Jude Law. Fucking kills Marvell. Fucking Jude. I mean, if we didn't figure that out by this point, then I don't know, you gotta be well, I don't want to say you're an idiot, because if you didn't figure it out, then I don't want to call you an idiot. But
see, he was gaslighting her and gaslighting her and gaslighting
he's so
her.
awful.
And then the Kree brainwash her mind and change her memories completely. I mean, they're fucking terrible.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, he kills Marvell. They have a little standoff, and Carol's like, fuck this. I'm still going to blow this core. Like, you can't have it. She blows the core, and all of the energy goes directly into her body. And Jude Law sees that she is still alive, and all of that power is inside of her. So he's like, fuck that. We're going to keep her.
So she was like, I'm going to blow this core. And then the core blew its energy, blew its load all over Captain Marvel.
And then here's something where I was just a little bit confused. So was all of that audio leading up to her blowing that core on that file, or was her memory triggered? Because that's when she's like, he lied to me, flipping out.
I think that was all in the audio file.
It was all until she blows the core.
Until they take her, I think.
Interesting. Well, yeah, because the core was like separate from, right? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So basically, Talos tells her that the Skrulls are refugees and that the Kree are actually really bad and like stole their home from them, basically. Marvell was trying to protect the Skrulls. Maria backs it up by saying that Lawson said that she always wanted to stop the war, not continue fighting. And poor Talos is just like, we just want a home. And tells Carol that they both lost everything at the hands of the Kree, and he wants to like help avenge both of them, really, basically, kind of, sort of, because she's also not Kree, and her life was fucked up by the Kree.
Yeah.
So she's still kind of upset, but then Maria like talks her down, is like, "You're awesome. You always do the right thing. What he's telling you is the right thing. Like, you need to listen to him. Come on." And I just met him too. So Talos basically, they all sit down, and Talos basically apologizes, but it's like, "You were our only lead to finding this woman."
I think, and this is just my personal opinion, so many Kree wouldn't have died, and this would have been so much smoother if from the beginning, when they had her in the ship tied up, they told her
All of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been so much easier than let's just go fucking batshit and just try to capture her alone and just pull the shit by force out of her.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
no.
at least they eventually got there, I guess.
At the end of the movie, there's like 4 scrolls left.
Bless it. Don't say that. So basically, Monica talks Maria, the little girl Monica talks Maria, the friend,
Her mom.
into being Carol's co-pilot to go find these coordinates. They basically determine that the coordinates are not a place. It's for like a spot in orbit. So they have to go find this like spot in the void, basically. And they're going to find something there, pretty much. So then I had totally forgotten this. I don't know that this registered the first time, but Carol, to like bond with Monica, lets Monica pick the colors of her suit. She's like, "I can't wear Kree colors anymore. This is tacky now." So she and Monica play around with it, and Monica is wearing an Air Force t-shirt, and that leads them to choosing the Air Force logo colors for her suit, which is the Captain Marvel suit. We all know.
Is the year there's a note you took that says Jan Rog? What the fuck kind of name is that?
I mean, Yanrog, seriously? What the fuck? Yanrog. We should have a dog and name it Yanrog.
It's like a type of eggnog that's made out of yawn.
What? Ugh. Yawn. That's my yawn.
Yawn Rog.
I can't.
It gets weirder the more you say it. You know how weird it would have been writing that script? How weird that name would have gotten? Just saying it over and over again. And then Yanrog says. And then Yanrog exclamates. And Yanrog does this. And Yanrog does that.
Oh, my Lord. But
And
basically...
Carol says, Yanrog, can we go Yanrogging?
Oh, my God. I can't. So they take off in their ship, but they have to create a diversion for Yanrog because he's inevitably found where they are in Maria's land. So they leave behind the Skrull who was disguised as Maria out in the yard with Monica, which is the science guy. He actually rigs the ship to be able to go out into outer space for them. And unfortunately, Carol didn't give the science Skrull all the information that he would have needed to go up against Yanrog, and Yanrog figures him out and kills him. It's so sad. But right before he dies, Yanrog's like, "She knows, doesn't she?" And Scientist just gives him a knowing look, and then he offs him. It's so fucked up.
The amount of dead scrolls in this movie.
It's genocide.
Practically.
It's like that episode of What If last night. Genocide. That's not a spoiler, I promise.
No.
Oh gosh. So after Yanrog kills Science Guy, he decides to call Ronan and be like, "Come to C-53," because he's an asshole. He is an asshole. Is Ronan like the king of Kree? Like,
I think he's. I don't want to say that I know that this is right or that this is right or that I am right, but to me, I really don't know jack shit about Ronan apart from what they've shown in the movies. To me, he seems kind of like a bishop, like the leader of a religion. Because I think in Guardians, in the first Guardians, they mentioned that he's a zealot for the Kree religion.
Oh.
So
And well, we're gonna get there, but in Guardians, are they like working with him, or is he the enemy? I mean, I know he's ultimately the
in the
enemy,
first
but
Guardian, he's trying to get the stone. That's the whole shtick. He just wants to get the stone that he's supposed to
and
give
they're
to
getting
Thanos.
the stone for him, right?
No, they stole
No.
the stone so they could sell it.
Oh.
And then what's his face wants to get the stone to give it to Thanos, but then he figures out, oh, it's powerful. I'm going to keep it
for myself.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Okay, so basically, we're on the ship now with Carol, Maria, Fury, and Talos. And Talos tells Fury that he should not be playing with Goose and loving on him and shit. There's so many foreshadowing moments with Goose. Like how many times he like rubs his nose up against Goose's nose and he's just, oh, you're just the cutest kitty ever, aren't you?
See, the thing is that before this movie come out, I think they said that they're gonna show in this movie how Nick loses his eye.
You told me that, I remember, and we were
throughout the entire movie. There's like so many close calls.
He has the rack, and he like gets a cut above his eye, and everybody's like, "Is your eye okay? How's that eye?" Blah, blah, blah.
Like just on and on, just little things that you think, oh, that's how he loses his eye. No, that's not it. And until it happens.
Yes, and we have another funny moment here because they're kind of like harassing Talos about all the things that he could become. And Maria's like, "Could you be a filing cabinet?" And he's like, "Why would I be a filing cabinet? What the fuck, Maria? Seriously?" And
he looks insulted too.
I love him.
Why would I become a filing
I remember
cabinet?
coming out of that movie theater and being like, I need a Talos Funko Pop. I'm glad we didn't get a Talos Funko Pop because I probably would have eventually gotten rid of it.
Until you saw the movie now.
I love him
and
so
you were like,
much.
I wish I had a Talos Funko
I
Pop.
love him. He's so cool. Love it. Okay, so basically they finally get to the coordinates and they find freaking Marvel's lab just floating around in space like all invisible and shit. And the freaking energy core is the Tesseract. How did they get the Tesseract from Howard?
Yeah,
How?
because he found the Tesseract in the last movie.
Between Howard finding it in the 40s to it now being in Marvel's spaceship in the 90s? What happened in that 50 years?
They should do a series kind of like What If, but called Filling the Gaps.
With the Tesseract. Following the Tesseract through the Marvel Universe.
Tesseract Adventures.
Yes.
And like one whole episode is just it sitting at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes.
Wait.
What?
Yeah. Well, then I was just thinking about the Flurkin, but that doesn't, no, that my mind is just, I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore.
Yeah, because it goes from the ship to the Flurkin to then Nick Fury, and that's Nick Fury has it at the beginning of Avengers.
Loki takes it.
At the beginning
right?
of Avengers,
Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so basically they're on Marvel's lab, and they see a hot cup of coffee, and they're like, oh, fuck, we're not alone. Well, then you hear fucking Talos doing like some whale call shit. I felt like I was watching Finding Nemo when Dory's speaking whale. Ooh! It was so weird. But yeah, all of the Skrulls just like start flooding into this main room. Turns out his whole family was in this lab. Yeah, it was really random.
Yeah, it's like the wife. I understand. Okay, she looks like she could be real, but then the kid, just
baby Skrulls just look kind of funny.
A little ugly bald head ass child.
Oh, they're all bald.
And that child is ugly with an EY.
That's sad.
So it's oogly.
But I thought it was cute. Carol's like, oh my gosh, he was not trying to get here for the Tesseract. He was trying to get here for his family. That just makes me want to cry. But of course, Jan Rog decides to show up and ruin all of the fun.
After Talos tells Carol that there's thousands of Skrulls scattered across the galaxy, which I hope there are, because at the end of the movie, again, there's like 4.
They're being killed off in droves.
There's like 4, and it's Talos, his wife, his child, and some other scroll.
So sad. So sad. But Yon-Rogg decides to be a dick, and he like temporarily cuts off Carol's powers.
So I was thinking while they were doing that whole stupid power struggle, the Tesseract has made a ton of super beings.
That's true, because it made wait, who did it make?
It made Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. And it made Vision. No, not Vision. No.
No, Vision is made by the stone, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you sure?
It made the weapons for Red Skull. It helped with the super serum. No, it didn't help with the super serum. That wasn't there.
The Tesseract is responsible for a lot of things.
Shit. Yeah, it's very responsible for a lot. A lot. The thing is, you think the Tesseract is done after Avengers? No, it comes back.
Is it coming back with this chaos that's being created with Kang?
Probably.
Yeah, because isn't it at the TVA?
Probably. I'm not 100%
Anyway, okay. So Jude Law's crew finds the Tesseract, and they're basically like holding Carol prisoner with the SI system, with endless Nirvana.
Okay. When we saw this movie in the theater, I think this was one of my actually this scene forward is what kicks off the rest of the movie.
It's a really good ending.
This is when it gets like really good because the scene just goes into like this white room and then the lady's just standing there with her leather jacket.
S.I. Lawson, yes.
And Nirvana's playing. It's playing "Come As You Are," and then the lady goes, "I was like, it's a good song." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good song."
But she's being a condescending bitch once again, like basically gaslighting Carol, and says, you know, like we can still take these powers away. And Carol's like, "Bitch, the Kree didn't give me these powers. The Blast did, because I remember everything now. So fuck you." Then we go back out to where like Fury and everybody's being held captive by the Jude Law crew, and they're scanning everybody. So they scan Goose. And it says Flurkin, highly dangerous. And Fury's like, what? That's so silly. And they scan Fury, and it's like, human man, not a threat at all. Poor guy. But it turns out that the Kree came up with calling Carol Veers because that was the only part left of her dog tag. Yeah. Carol Danvers, the Bers. So Carol's like having this mental battle with the SI, and she is like making it her bitch, and she basically breaks that stronghold. She destroys the implant thingy in her neck. She rips herself out of this wire prison thing.
And she becomes a Super Saiyan.
Basically.
Her hair is up.
She does look a lot like that. Those two little pictures on your poster. Yeah.
Like Goku and Vegeta?
Yeah, she's shiny.
Yeah, she turns into a Super Saiyan.
Mm-hmm. So she then tells Fury to take the Tesseract, but to leave the lunchbox with her, because the Jude Law crew thinks that the Tesseract is in the lunchbox.
But Fury doesn't want to touch the Tesseract. So
Goose is like over everybody's shit and decides to go full Flurkin and swallow the Tesseract.
Kind of like Luna when we show her a pepperoni.
Yes.
A pepperoni?
And in case you don't know what the Flurkin looks like, imagine a cat, but then its head becomes an octopus.
Imagine real life Garfield, but cute, with tentacles coming out of his mouth.
Giant ass tentacles.
Big enough to eat people.
Yeah, it's scary. Scary. But then Carol like goes ultimate Super Saiyan badass and takes down her whole old team by herself.
While No Doubt is playing.
I'm just a girl.
So I think it's perfect that that song is the one that's playing while she's discovering her new powers, because she's kind of like flailing all over the place while fighting.
It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So we're once again flashing between all these places, and Fury and Maria are trying to run away with Goose. But they keep encountering random Kree bad guys, and Goose, like, kills them all. It's amazing. So then they run into another group of Kree soldiers who are leading some scrolls away, and he tries to sit Goose on them, and Goose just doesn't do shit. Instead, Goose jumps out of his arms and decides to go make buddy-buddy with the Kree, but turns out it's Talos. And one of his goons disguised once again as whatever. Okay, so then Yonrog manages to shoot Talos as they try to take off. It's so sad. I hate it. And then Yon and knockoff Nebula go chasing the ship, and Carol is hanging on to Yon's ship, trying to make them stop. Carol's a badass pilot, and she blows up knockoff Nebula all by herself.
It wasn't Carol.
No, it wasn't Carol. It was Maria.
It was Maria. You wrote Carol.
Undo all of that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You said because you wrote Carol.
I meant Maria.
Yeah.
So then Carol magically discovers that she can actually fly with these wicked cool powers that she has, and she personally takes down Jude's ship. Just as fucking Ronan is coming to Earth with his ballistic warheads. Lots of them. But Carol literally flies up, meets one of them head on, and pushes it back into the other warheads. Ronan decides to try to take her down, but instead she, like, destroys everything that he tries to do to her.
Chris, she's a Super Saiyan.
Everything. And then he's like, let's go back to the jump point, but we'll be back for the weapon. And they're like, for the Tesseract? And he's like, no, for the woman.
I would also like to see how Ronan tried to get her back, because as we know, Ronan is very dead. He is incredibly dead.
Wait, when did he die?
In
Guardians 2?
Guardians, yeah.
In Guardians 1 or 2?
2. One.
I don't remember how he died.
He gets disintegrated by the stone.
Right. So maybe he never got around to trying to steal Carol back. Well, not back, but, steal Carol. Okay, so then Carol finally gets her face off with fucking Yon. Maybe we should just call him Rog. And he's like, you know what? I'm so proud of you. And continues to gaslight her over and over and over and over and over. But she blasts him and's like, fuck you. Tells him she has nothing to prove to his sorry ass. She drags his sorry ass back to his ship, throws him in it, sets the destination to Hala, and he's like, you can't do this. I can't go back. And she's like, yeah, you can, with a message that I'm coming to end the superhuman intelligence thing, supreme intelligence, and the war, because this is bullshit. So then we see Fury loving up on Goose yet again. And Goose finally scratches him in the eye.
That mother flirkin'.
And he's like, it's just a scratch. And Talos is like, nope, it's a flirkin' scratch. Carol tells Talos that she'll help the Skrulls find a home, and tells Fury that they should keep the Tesseract hidden on Earth. That's how Fury ends up in possession of the Tesseract via Goose. Fury keeps calling Marvel, and is like, Marvel sounds so much better.
And that's when he sings, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Yes. And Carol's like, I done rigged up your pager for you so it can reach across galaxies, but you're only allowed to use it in case of emergency. So Carol leaves with the Skrulls to find their new home. Coulson comes to Fury with a box full of eyeballs and is like, is it true that the Kree burned your eye out? And is like, sorry, we can't find the Tesseract. Little does he know that the Tesseract is sitting in the corner of the room in the body of the cat. Fury's like, S.H.I.E.L.D. alone can't protect everyone. And wait.
That's true. Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah. And he says that they would need more people like Carol. And Coulson's like, where are you just going to find people like her? And Fury's like, I think I will. We found her, just like not even looking for her. So why wouldn't there be other people out there like this? And then he sees a photo in a file of Carol getting into a plane, that had her nickname painted on the side of it. It said Carol Avenger Danvers. It's gonna make me cry. Oh my god. And he changes his file name, or at least we can assume, because they don't actually show him doing it.
It doesn't show him putting Avenger
Initiative,
but yeah.
He deletes the whatever it was.
I don't remember.
Person initiative. I don't know. I know it was a P word, I think.
And that's how the movie ends?
Yes. And there's like some badass music, but then we have 2 post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
So the first one is they've got the pager like rigged up to some crazy system, and you see Cap and Black Widow looking at like diagrams and shit, and we can see everybody's in their post-snap get up. And so, what's his name? What is his name?
Ruffalo?
No, not Ruffalo. Rhodey?
Yeah.
He runs in and is like, hey, we might have something. And they all go with Mark Ruffalo to look at the pager again. And they're like, we just got to know, like, who's on the other end of that thing. And then, boom, Carol's behind them.
With a bad wig on.
Where's Fury? And that's how that scene ends.
That wig was really bad.
Well, you also only see her for like 2 seconds.
See, okay, so the that scene makes me feel like those scenes could be an alternate universe.
Why?
Hulk is not hulky Bruce.
But he's not Hulky Bruce. Is he stuck Hulky Bruce after this? Right. Oh, shit. I forgot about that. That he stuck his Hulky Bruce.
Rhodey isn't wearing his metal leg prostheses?
Man, there's lots of holes in this shit that they need to fill in.
Because they broke his back.
They got Nick eating diagonal toast. They got Marky Mark in little Marky Mark form instead of green form. What the hell? Oh. You notice all these things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So then the second post-credit scene is just adorable little goose climbing up on Fury's desk, and he has a hairball. But it's actually a large, square, glowy hairball. He pukes up the Tesseract on Fury's desk. And that's literally that entire scene. And the movie's over.
Could you imagine if your stepmom had
a Tesseract living in one of the cats? Oh my god.
One of the cats, those cats was a flurkin. The one that was trying to eat your dad the other day.
or what's that one's name? The really, really fat one. I bet that one's a flurkin. The super fat cat.
Damn, that shit must eat trees and cars and shit.
That one's a flurkin. That would explain everything.
If there's any missing persons report in Tifton, Georgia.
It was that cat.
Yeah.
He gets to roam around outside. Mm-hmm. He's not friendly. He doesn't want to love up on you.
No, he's a big motherfucker.
Well, if you brush him, he'll let you love. But that's it. I bet you he is housing the Tesseract. We could be in the next Marvel movie.
So, what would you rate this movie?
Out of what? 10?
5.
5? I think I'd give it a 5 now.
Really?
It was a really good movie, yeah.
Really?
I didn't feel like going to sleep at all. I was entertained the entire time. I painted my nails through Captain America. What did I give that one?
4? 4.5?
Did I?
Yeah. I think this movie, I don't think it's a 5 because it's not the best, but it's a really good movie. And I really like the 2006 run of Captain Marvel. I'm not a big fan of this new Captain Marvel, but it was still a great movie. 4.8.
You appreciated it a lot more this. What would you have given it the first time?
4.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you were a little bit disappointed that first time.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
I don't know what I was expecting, but this time watching it again, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm pretty sure Black Widow is not going to be this good second watch through.
Oh, fuck no. We're not going to bother.
No,
it's trash.
All right.
Trash.
So, anything else you want to say before we end the episode?
I don't want to lead again.
Well, too bad.
I retire.
Too fucking bad. I don't want to do this anymore, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. That's what I'm telling you.
Next week, we will be discussing Iron Man.
The third Avenger.
The weakest Avenger. No, he's not the weakest.
Without the suit, he
The
is.
biggest asshole.
He is the biggest asshole, too.
Yeah.
So the whole Marvel universe wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for the Tesseract and Tony.
Wait, what?
We would have no issues in the Marvel universe
Oh.
if the Tesseract and Tony didn't exist.
But what about the Infinity Stones?
They're not as big of problem
They definitely
creators.
become a really big fucking problem,
Yeah, but they're not as big as problem creators as Tony and the Tesseract.
I guess.
So
And if you watch What If, then maybe you'll empathize with Thanos a little bit more. Maybe. You know, I like him now. I do.
All right. So you want to end the episode?
Thank you for listening. Tell your friends about Patreon. Follow us. And yeah.
And don't worry, next time I'll lead the episode.
Thank God, because I suck at this.
I'm going to make you lead another one soon.
I applaud anyone who managed to sit through this entire train wreck of an episode. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you don't have to listen to me this much on a regular basis. I do not have the personality for this. Nope.
You'll get there. You'll get there. It's not hard. I can do it. It's not hard. All right, so end the episode. Come on.
How do I end the episode?
I don't know. How do I end episode every week?
With housekeeping.
Don't do housekeeping. Just go straight into the ending.
Do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.